A lot of news coming out all over the NFL today, including Brian Flores is indeed going to be interviewing with the Commanders for their defensive coordinating job.
Yes!
So yesterday, Rap Sheet said they would like to interview him. There's a lot of things I would like to do.
I would love to do so many things.
They're actually going to be interviewing him. I'll stand by my original stance on this, which is both that I would love this and figure out how to do a cartwheel if they could pull it off, because this is my dream scenario as a DC hire. But also, I don't see it as realistic. I think he's going to have a lot of options, and there's a bunch of defenses with better talent than this one. Plus, you'd be coming to a building to work for a defensive-minded head coach who presumably occasionally is going to rear his head in your operation. I would want to go somewhere where I run half of a building like he did in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell. I still think he'll stay with the Vikings, but if he leaves, a place like Dallas would make a lot of sense to me. Or some other spots like that where I've got really
a little
good
bit more autonomy.
talent.
Yeah.
Quinnen Williams, and some stud players. I just don't see why he would be interested in this job unless they paid him like a head coach or something.
So it went from I thought there was zero chance when I heard they would like to interview Brian Flores. I would like a lot of things to have happen. I'd like for my delicious frosted breakfast cereal to not make me fat. You know what I mean? But that doesn't make it realistic. The fact that they're interviewing him means that at least there's a percentage on the board now. It means at least there's some chance. At least there's some mutual interest. Otherwise, you would have just said no thank you. Now, he could be doing his due diligence, fact-finding mission, maybe scouting a year in advance for a job opening potentially. Who knows? It never hurts you to do interviews. But it shows there's at least some willingness to listen to what this organization is selling the same way they're giving him the once-over. So that's exciting to me. Even the fact that we got out of the idea phase to him getting on a plane and coming here, that's a big deal to me.
Is it, though? Because why wouldn't you say yes to every interview opportunity?
I certainly would, but you've seen guys turn it down.
The more interviews you do, I think the more in demand it seems like you are, which helps with your value, which helps in whatever you're asking for, number one. Number two, I think there's value in just building relationships all over the league. So coming out here, shaking hands and sitting down with Dan Quinn, maybe you don't know Dan Quinn that well. Maybe you come over and you meet David Blau, and when you're a head coach, next thing you know, you spent time with him in the building over 2 days when you're interviewing and bumping into him and having these conversations. And now you call up Blau and you go, hey, man, we met in D.C., what have you. So I guess it's possible that he would only accept interviews in places where he would seriously be willing to work. But they would have had to make a few things very clear to me to get me on that plane if that's the case. Like, hey, man, we got a lot of money to give you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we're not bringing you in here for a couple of years on the cheap. Like, we're talking about second contract coordinator.
Yeah, what'd you make in Minnesota? We'll give you more. Something like that. But again,
who are the players you'd be excited to come here and coach?
Well, there wouldn't be here yet. Your best defensive players don't play for you yet, which is, again, a tough sell. The only thing that I could see as a selling point here, and hear me out on this, is, hey, man, this defense was so rotten. It's going to be better next year with or without you, because we're going to go get players. We're drafting this way. We're going to free agency. We're not doing 38-year-olds anymore. We're going to go get you some speed, et cetera. This is a raw mold of clay. If you go from the worst to 16th, people around these parts will think you walk on water. And around the league, people will notice too. If we win games, and you're just trying to sell them on the vision, so this is me now. I'm Adam Peters. I'm really handsome, square jaw, nice hair. Everybody, delivering the message. If we win, and that defense improves dramatically under your tutelage, what cologne you're wearing at this point? You're probably a head coach. And maybe that would be his thinking, is that I could do my 1-year apprenticeship in this, a place where the expectations are as low as the floor in terms of this defensive side of the ball. Maybe.
I would look at talent I'm coaching.
I would too.
And I would look for a place where somebody who calls offensive plays is the head coach, and I can quite literally run half of a building as if I'm a second head coach for experience. Exactly what he did when he went to Minnesota, and I would say that's the perfect job. So I can't wrap my head around why he'd like this place. The only legit Pro Bowl caliber talent, perennial Pro Bowler type, and he's only made one Pro Bowl, so I don't even know if that's a fair analysis, but I guess I'm being kind, is Daron Payne. And I don't think it's a guarantee that he's back next year. I think he will be, but his cap number is skyrocketing to like $28 million, which is a little bit of an overpay. I guess it's possible they could either extend him and lower that, or they could try to move him or do something else. But he's the best player. I mean, they got a good one who makes some plays in Kinlaw, who's kind of up and down at D tackle, but he makes a lot of positive, impactful plays. But on the second level at linebacker, in the secondary, there's not really star power, Pro Bowl caliber talent. Let's go to Mark in Largo. Mark, what do you make of Brian Flores interviewing with the Commanders?
I think this is bigger than what you think, Grant, and here's the reason why. Brian and Adam are I don't think they're tight, but they're very familiar with each other in their days in New England.
They were only together for one season in New England, way back in 2008.
No, right. So they're pretty familiar with each other. But here's the other thing. Look, no one's going to go to Dallas of credibility because of the 800-pound gorilla, Jerry Jones. Let's just call it what it is. Yes, they have talent, but you have Jerry Jones over there as well, too. That's going to always be a problem. No one with credibility is going to go down to Dallas. That's just not going to happen. I do think this would be a better fit for him because I think he might, he's the closest thing, both of you. Y'all remember Greg Williams 20 years ago. Y'all
He's
remember
my guy.
his defense.
Yes, indeed.
This is like the closest to Greg Williams. This is like Greg Williams reincarnated.
No, Mark, you're mistaken. You don't have to sell me on Brian Flores, okay? I've been screaming about wanting Brian Flores for a month. That's my favorite D coordinator in football. Line everybody up at the line of scrimmage. You don't know who's coming and who's going, and we're doing all kinds of exotic blitzes and running games up front. This is a grand slam hire. I'd be giddy and euphoric. I would love this. It'd be the best coaching hire as a coordinator they've made in a long, 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 long time. You don't have to sell me on it. I'm saying we're not good enough for him.
Right.
I'm not saying I don't want her. I'm saying she's not going to accept my offer.
So imagine
at a date.
Grant loves The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Imagine I'm
Not
The
anymore.
Bachelor.
I'm out.
You did. Imagine I'm The Bachelor. And then the candidates are lined up and they're like, I'm so excited to meet him. And then it's me. And they're like, oh,
Right.
okay. He's all right, I guess.
You're misunderstanding me. This would be the best thing ever. I just think he is way too good for us in this current role because of the fact that you've got a defensive-minded head coach and very little legitimate talent to pass along.
Could you give him that assistant head coach type thing to entice him?
I don't think
maybe?
he cares about that.
Yeah, maybe not.
I mean, that's a fake title. You're getting
for more money.
You're giving him a raise, but you're giving him a raise. The only way you get him here is if you pay him $1 million, $1.5 million more than everybody else.
I'm cool with that, by the way.
The way I look at it. But by the way, the Adam Peters thing, maybe they have a relationship. I just want to reiterate, they only were together in New England in 2008, which is literally 18 years ago.
Yeah, if he's not a head coach somewhere, I bet you he's got one of those in a different building. You know what I mean? Where someone he came across or whatever who was impressed by him because he's impressive.
Peters was an area scout, and Flores was the assistant special teams coach. So I'm not going to act like they didn't bump into each other, but Peters was probably on the road a lot. Like I just don't know how much time they spent around each other in that 1 year in New England. It's not like they were there together for 5 years or something. Grant and Danny on the Fan. If you want to talk Flores, you can. 800-636-1067.